Hi, Ray Barton here, Coldwell Banker Flanagan Realty. I am here as a realtor associate. I'm proud to be part of Coldwell Banker Flanagan Realty. Sometimes I'm known as RayTheRealEstateGuy.com, and I thought that maybe what I would do is provide you some sort of a video, if you will, on a weekly basis, having to do with real estate in our particular area. Don't want to bore you, just want to give you some facts, give you some things to think of. And so today, let's talk about some of that. I'd like to talk about three things. One, about the marketplace in Ocean County. We just got some statistics from the New Jersey Realtor Association. The next thing I'd like to talk to you about is mortgages. And mortgages, as we know, the rates have dropped down tremendously. But I think that at the end of the day, you need to know there's a few caveats. And then the last thing I'd like to talk to you about is something called SRES. You'll see those initials on my business card, and I thought maybe you'd like to understand a little bit more about that. So let's dive in. So every month, the New Jersey Realtor Association provides for us a number of statistics that I find very interesting. And I think that you might be as well, because right now we're in what we consider a seller's market, and we frankly see that this market may last for a little while yet. As of November of 2020, we found that there was a decrease in listings of about 12% for single-family homes. That in itself drove demand, and we found that closings were up because of it. We found that people were out looking for houses, and they were buying them. Many times we would find that those houses were suddenly hot items, and people wanted them, and they made an offer, and sometimes we would get multiple offers on the same property. In fact, we've had a 10.7% increase in closed property sales this year versus last year through November of 2020. One of the indicators that we look at particularly is something called days on market. We like to see how long it takes to sell the house, because that's a good indicator as to whether or not the house is priced right. And we're finding in this market, it went from 72 days last year through November to 64 days this year in November, about 11% decrease. So part of that's driven because the houses are priced right. And part of that's because the market has absolutely helped us price the property. We've had multiple properties throughout the year that we've gotten multiple offers on that same property above the listing price. So as much as our experience will help guide you to get you to a good number in order to sell your property, the market is really in control, and it certainly was evident. The median sales price in Ocean County for a single-family home last year was about $315,000. This year through November, we saw that go to $360,000. And again, I think that's because the seller's not inventorying enough homes for sale. The buyers are pushing the demand, and they're willing to pay more. In some cases, more than we thought it should be listed at. So there's been about a 14% increase in the median sales price, which is really, frankly, good for the seller. One of the areas that I work in a lot is the adult communities, and I keep pretty good tabs on that, as most of our agents in our office do. We had new listings last year, about 5,390 through November, and this year they've dropped down to 4,225. People were just a little bit apprehensive in that market space to list their house. They didn't want people coming in because of the virus, and we certainly understand that, and we do an awful lot to try to protect the property when we are dealing with that. Through this whole COVID experience, we've learned how to sanitize, wear face masks, ensure that people are held harmless, and do a number of things in order to make people as comfortable as they can. But even with that, rightfully so, some people are apprehensive. So we haven't had the inventory that we've wanted to, and because of that, the closed sales this past November were only up 1.7% over last year, which is significantly lower than a single family house. That particular market space, 55 and older, 50 and older. I mean, people are concerned about the virus, and rightfully so. So we expected that, but we have seen that when you do put your house on the market, where it was 70 days on market last year, it's only 65 days this year, which still shows that there's a demand, and that continues to show in the median sales price, where last year a median sales price for an adult community home was $165,500, and this year we're seeing in Ocean County $190,000, a 14% increase. So people are looking for those homes. There's a demand for those homes, and if you have to sell, or if you're in a position where it's time for you to move from an adult community back with a family or do something differently, certainly now's the time to do that. And if you're interested, if I can help you, please feel free to call me at 908-309-2222. I'm more than glad to come and give you what we call a comparative market analysis, free of charge. We'll try to give you the skinny on what we think we can get your house sold for. Right now, like I said, we are in demand of inventory, and we know that we can be very helpful and favorable to you in getting your house sold. So the second thing I wanted to talk about was the idea of mortgage loans, and mortgage loans are getting a little bit harder to obtain. In doing some research here, the Mortgage Credit Association Index, which is the Mortgage Banker Association's measure of the willingness of a lender to issue a mortgage, recently fell to the lowest point since 2014. With COVID, there's been a number of people who are unemployed. There's a number of people who, frankly, are not in the position to sell or to buy, and so the mortgage companies are a little bit apprehensive, and we certainly understand that. We've seen forbearance agreements provided for 6 months, even up to a year. We don't know how that's going to affect the long-term mortgage scenario. And we've also seen that there's been a 0.5% mortgage refinance loan surcharge have been imposed by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. So all these things said, if you're a well-qualified buyer, it shouldn't really affect you all that much. Again, we've seen mortgage rates that have been significantly low. We just had one in the office not too long ago where a person obtained a 15-year mortgage at 2.25%. It's kind of hard to believe when I think my first mortgage was over 17% back in the 70s. So, obviously we haven't paid that in a long time. Most of them in recent years have been in the 4.5%, but to see mortgage rates below 3%. Are kind of a norm at this point. So if you have what it takes to get a mortgage, don't worry. But let's talk about some of those caveats that are holding people back at this point. One of them is having a score that's below 640. In recent years, if you had a score between 620 and 580, we usually could find you a mortgage. Mortgage companies had products that were available to you. You might have paid a little bit extra. You might have paid some points. You might have had some mortgage insurance situations that you had to deal with, but you could get a mortgage. Right now, it's become more and more difficult if you have a borderline score. Not to worry, there are things that can be done. Many times people don't realize with just a little bit of counseling, you can pop that mortgage easily by getting your financial scores and ratings up. Your credit score is one of the more important scores that you have to maintain, and there are ways to do it. I have on my team a counselor. She's not a financial advisor. She's a financial counselor, and she will help you walk through your finances and help you do what you need to do in order to raise that score and get prepared to get a mortgage and get a mortgage with a better rate. The other thing that the mortgage companies are very concerned with right now are what is known as the loan-to-value ratio. And if it's above 95%, they get really concerned. Now, there are some FHA loans out there at 3%. There's some first-time homeowners at 5%. But, when you get a loan-to-value ratio above 95%, they get a little bit nervous because with the market at current condition, if they go to sell the house, if they had to foreclose and go to sell the house and recover their money, it becomes a little bit more difficult when they are presented more with short sale situations, and they try to stay away from that. So loan to value ratio is a very significant number that they're all looking at right now. One of my friends recently called me, one of the mortgage guys called me, and he said to me, Ray, please, anyone who comes in for a mortgage, let them know that it's incredibly difficult for me to get you anything if you don't have paperwork. If you don't have at least a W-2 or your tax records, if you're self-employed or some sort of accounting to prove your income, it's almost impossible for any mortgage company to lend you the money that you're looking for. So you want to make sure you got that in order. If you come to me and you're looking for a mortgage, I'll hook you up with a number of people that you can talk to, and those people are going to always ask you, can you prove your income? It's very, very crucial. They don't care what you make. They just want to see that you're making it and that you can prove it. And then the other thing that we're seeing is people who are applying for mortgages between $500,000 and $800,000 are in a category of themselves, and right now it is kind of considered an additional risk. If you don't have significant money down in that category, or if you don't have the real financial ability in that category, it becomes more of a lender problem. Many people in that category use their accountant to help them secure the mortgage, and that's probably prudent. But there are those mortgages available, as there are low income mortgages. So don't be afraid of what I'm telling you. Just be concerned that you need to be prepared as you go forward. So what do you do if you find yourself in a position like that? Come see me. Come talk to me. I can hook you up with a number of people who are in the business. I can refer you to people who can help you. I'll give you a number of choices. And, it's good to talk to multiple people, not just the first one. And, we'll help guide you through the process. And if you need some financial counseling, I'll introduce you to the counselor that I work with. She's very, very good at what she does, and frankly, I think you can learn a lot from her. So, again, people are buying, people are getting mortgages, and we're here to help you get to that position. So don't hesitate. Now, the last thing I want to talk to you about is those initials on my business card, SRES, SRES. What's an SRES? Well, an SRES is a seniors real estate specialist. There's a certification that we go through. It provides for additional training, and it will help you, with our experience and background. If you're in that category of 50 years plus, if you're 20 years plus, a senior real estate specialist might be the one that you want to talk to. We can help all buyers and sellers in that situation. Now, here are some of the things that we find. It's a very emotional time to buy a house, but when you're suddenly downsizing, or if you're suddenly in a position where you have to move from your home of 25 years to a smaller place because you can't afford the bigger home, or you can't potentially take care of it anymore, it is traumatic. And so you don't want to just get up and do that. You want to talk to someone who can counsel with you and talk to you about it. Do it all the time, and we see it all the time. You get a phone call saying, hey, I'm retiring on Monday. I'm going to sell my 13-room house. I want to move to a 4-room house in Ocean County. Well, we're here to help you, but let's talk through that. Let's make sure that you're making the transition in the right way, and let's make sure that you're in a position that once you get there, you're going to be happy and satisfied as best you can. And in some cases, we find that people who are in that position are saying, I just got to sell. I can't stay here anymore. And it really may make more sense for you to just stay there. Okay, as much as I want to list a house and sell a house, I also want to make sure that you're taken care of. And as a seniors real estate specialist, we're going to be empathetic and understand what your needs are and give you some information that you should consider before you run off. Now, I don't like to do that by myself. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a financial advisor by any means. There's some things I can do. I can take pictures of your house. I can sell your house. I can find buyers for your house. I can help you stage your property. I can do things that help you get market ready. But sometimes you may need to talk to a financial counselor. You may need to talk to a tax counselor. You may need to talk to a seniors attorney. You may need to talk to someone who has the ability to handle transitioning from one stage of life to another. And those stages of life, sometimes we think about just retiring and moving. It may be that you've come down with some debilitating disease, or there may be something else going on in your family that suddenly you find that you were an empty nester, and then you have your kids moving back in with you because of their problems. So it's a complex situation that we can certainly help you with, and we stand here to help at any time. We are very familiar with the 50 and older adult communities here in Ocean County and Southern Monmouth County. We know a lot about them. Certainly have experience in dealing with them. It's not just going and buy a house. It's not like buying a car. It's a big investment. There are when you're moving into an adult community, you have HOA fees, you have transfer fees, you have a number of things that you may have to consider. We certainly know that, and we're certainly here to help you. If you have any questions at all, there's my phone number, 908-309-2222. It's my personal cell. Just feel free to call me. I'm here and I'm available to help you. And, like I said, if I don't have an answer, I will find you the person who can get you the answer. I want to make sure that you're taken care of. I want to make sure that your transition is exactly what you're looking to do. And I'm hoping that it's a joyous occasion, not something that becomes a challenge. Real estate transactions are not simple, and we try to help you through that myriad of concerns and issues, and try to simplify it as best we can, and take some of that pressure off you, so that when you do get to your new dream home, that it'll be just that, a beautiful place for you to reside. So with that, those are the three things I wanted to talk to you about, but I'm sure there's 100 other things that you want to talk to me about. So again, call me at 908-309-2222. If you're looking at houses in Monmouth, Ocean County, you can go to raytherealestateguy.com. I have connected pretty much every house that's available through multiple listing on the site. It comes directly to me. I'm more than glad to help you, as well as Coldwell Banker, Flanagan Realty. We have our own websites, and we're all here to help. So feel free to give me a call. Again, 908-309-2222, Ray Barton. And thanks for being with me. Have a great day.